Good Monday morning to you all. Hopefully you guys are doing great. We got another Watchmen update. We got updates on the attack in Idaho on the firemen. Not good news coming out of Iran, unfortunately, including a holy order to our president. We got issues with power that you guys are reporting. We got issues with salmon, especially canned. Issues with certain medications and flock cameras taking away your privacy, and they're going up everywhere. We got that and a whole lot more. Let's get into it. Welcome to the Poplar Report. I'm Steve Poplar. I'm an accountant by trade, and these are your updates that you guys are sending in. Hopefully you guys are going to have a good beginning to your week. We had quite a weekend, though. We do want to thank our sponsor, Genesis Gold Group. They help people with retirement accounts to get out of stocks and bonds so that your IRA, your 401k, your retirement can be safe in precious metals. Physical metals that you'll be able to hold in your hand once you take those distributions. Not promises of metal, actual metal. If you want to find out more about what that looks like, what the fees are, Jonathan and his team would love to talk to you. They can explain it all to you and show you all the numbers, and you can decide if it's a good fit for you. There'll be a link at the end of the video. All right, we'll start in Washington, D.C., where nothing exploded, contrary to many reports and some other YouTube channels. Apparently what happened was an Amazon van had an engine problem, an engine fire, and it set fire to some bushes. And so a whole bunch of smoke happened in Washington, D.C. It wasn't near the White House, contrary to popular reports, and it wasn't an explosion. These kind of things happen with vehicles when you have internal combustion. Speaking of fires, an arsonist set a wildfire in northern Idaho outside Coeur d'Alene, then opened fire on the responding firefighters, then continued to attack even once police showed up. The SWAT teams that arrived to save the firefighters removed the attacker permanently, but 2 responding firefighters didn't make it, and others were severely injured. The Grand Ayatollah something of Iran issued a fatwa, which is a holy order, ordering that faithful Iranians remove President Trump and Prime Minister Netanyahu. This is an order to eliminate them. And this is coming from not the Ayatollah Khomeini, but the Grand Ayatollah. Apparently there's a bunch of Ayatollahs. Anyway, one of them issued this, and I'm sure it happened with the approval of the others. Speaking of Iran, satellite imagery is showing that Iran has unearthed entrances to Natanz and Isfahan sites, and new roads and excavations have appeared near the main entrance to the tunnels to Fordow. Now, we've been told that all of these, that Fordow has been completely destroyed. This is what we've been told by our government, though the leaked top secret information that was presented to Congress showed that maybe not so much. And a lot of people are pointing out the fact, why is Iran digging around in the dirt if the place was completely destroyed? They sure seem to think that they can get in there and that they can get at least something useful out of there. Some reports out there are saying that they think that they can get it operational again. Now, major construction continues a short distance away from Fordow site in Iran's new ultra-deep Pickaxe Mountain site. Now, this site is significantly deeper than Fordow, and some reports have indicated that they already moved some of their advanced centrifuges over to Pickaxe Mountain. Now, it's a little hard for us to understand what exactly is going on in Pickaxe Mountain, because unlike all the other nuclear sites, which the IAEA, the International Atomic Agency, actually has been to, no one has ever been allowed to go into Pickaxe Mountain. Some speculate that the processed uranium, once it gets up to 60%, was being moved over to Pickaxe Mountain. Now we see that they continue to dig there and they continue to make it deeper. This is about twice as deep as the Fort Owl site, which we eliminated completely, if you believe everything that you're being told by the government. We'll see. We'll see what happens with the truth as things come out. But it wouldn't be the first time our government told us stuff that's not exactly true. I mean, don't you remember Iraq? Isn't that a fun one? That was a fun one. We were told all sorts of stuff. Turned out to be not true. None of it. Oh, it was all moved over to Syria. Now Syria's been overthrown, and it turns out that wasn't true either. Crazy how that is. Now, one big thing that we do know for sure is that Russia and China have promised military assistance and other assistance to Iran. Many are speculating that Russia will be providing advanced centrifuges and potentially even uranium to Iran. This is not good. It seems like we've made Iran so desperate that they're running to the Russians for help. And the closer they forge these ties between these three countries, the more problems it's going to cause to us. These guys are naturally suspicious of each other. The Ayatollahs of Iran don't like the Christians and atheists of Russia. And they don't like the atheists of China. But enemy my enemy is kind of turning this into a coalition. Russia has always been suspicious of China invading its Far East and taking all of its natural resources. They've always feared that and been suspicious of that. China doesn't like having a Russian hat on their country either, and that's why they've kept a big buffer state between them and Russia. All right, the courts in Israel have canceled Prime Minister Netanyahu's trial hearings this week after President Trump basically went to stump for Netanyahu, saying that now is not the time for this. And apparently the Israeli courts are like, yeah, okay, we'll just not have those court hearings. They did appear to be a little bit political, but I don't know. It's hard to say with these things. Moving over to Washington, D.C. again, where nothing exploded. Senate has advanced Trump's big, beautiful bill in a narrow vote, 51 to 49. Two Republicans joining the Democrats in opposing the move. The Senate version, let's just say, spends quite a bit more money than the House version, which already was spending a ridiculous amount of money. It's kind of like a fat pig rolling down a muddy hill, picking up more mud as it goes along. Not a perfect example. Maybe it should be like a slope of bacon, picking up more pork as it goes down the hill. I don't know. But whatever it is, it's an abomination, it's ugly, and it's hideous. This is how the sausage is made in Washington, D.C. I don't like it. I know nobody else likes it either. Kitty Mama says, I ordered a bag of 5 to 6 count avocados from Wally World, or Walmart, in South small town in Arkansas. I only got 4 in the bag. It's supposed to be 5 or 6. Immediately I got a refund. Check prices, weights, and counts on your orders, please. Best news for you says, I shop at a small Walmart in Ogdensburg, New York. In May, there was no Great Value canned salmon, even at the bigger store in Watertown. I buy the GV brand because it's only $3 for almost 15 ounces and has the same quality as some of the more expensive brands. In June, it did show back up on the shelves, but the use-by date was December 2025. Normally, fresh stock is good for at least 3 years. 2 days ago, I bought 6 more cans, and they were all dated to October 2025. We're like going backwards in time. It's like a time machine. Still good, but it tells me it's being pulled from other places that didn't sell a lot, and even that stock must be running out. Kathy says, I went to a farmer's market here in northeast Wisconsin. I was going to buy a couple flats of strawberries. Well, I was in total shock. They wanted $50 for a flat. I will never spend that kind of money for strawberries. I'll buy my jams and jellies from the Amish. At least I can save money and not sweat through the process of canning. And the food from the Amish store is at least natural. Lesson learned. Think about the time saving and the less money and making sure you get good food. Those are all important. You know, some of you guys need to focus in on saving time, and that means you're going to spend a little bit more money. Some of you guys need to save money, and that means you're going to spend a little bit more time. And each of you got to kind of assess where you are, what resources you have. Do you have a lot of time or do you have a lot of money? And just kind of figure out what's best for you. But just don't fall into these traps. A lot of people throw a lot of money at like those food buckets, and the quality is garbage. I mean, a lot of these companies, the food buckets, it's just garbage in there. You'd be better off getting a whole bunch of mac and cheese and, you know, throwing in some Mylar and better quality than the stuff you're getting in these things. Anyway, AAA says use sulfur powder to get rid of ticks and fleas in your yard. I used to get 50-pound bags at the feed store. I cannot verify that whatsoever, whether that works or not. Let me know down in the comments if it works. Make sure you're using a word update, right? Fred Fisherman says organic coconut oil just went up at Sam's Club here in upstate South Carolina from $8.98 to $10.98. $2 up just in a couple weeks here. Standing watch in Arizona. I work at a state prison facility here in Arizona. I heard that some of the inmates' medicines are on indefinite manufacturer's backlog. So people who need medication can't get it, according to the government. If they can't get it, I haven't heard from you guys about medications being on backlog yet. So if you go to the store or you go to the pharmacy and you can't get your medication, let us know. That's an important one. I mean, if somebody can't get bananas, that's an inconvenience. If they can't get their salmon in a can, as much as we don't like that, that's different than somebody who can't get their medication that they need. Hummingbird DC says bugs and insects. We asked you about that. A number of you guys chiming in on the same thing, that you're seeing a lot less bugs. I've noticed a huge drop in most bugs and insects in my yard and in the 2 miles surrounding my house that I walk around. There seems to be a distinct lack of bees, particularly in Northern Virginia. I searched to see if others have noticed the same thing, but I didn't find any reports on the subject. Well, we have that here, don't we? Haven't seen any ladybugs and have only seen one small bee since March, when typically there are hundreds buzzing around. I did see a handful of carpenter bees, though. I always mix clover into my lawn and intentionally rake piles of leaves together for them to shelter in during the winter in an attempt to help them out. So I should have more bees than average. Once a year, the ants try to invade my kitchen as well, but not this year. I've been feeding the birds more routinely and thought that might explain some of the decrease in insects or bugs in my garden. However, I have seen an increase in earwigs this year. Kim says, I just got back from Walmart in South Central Pennsylvania, and they had brown beef. It was not marked down. It was just brown, like it was half cooked, but not. Happy Camper says, Hickory, North Carolina. Boy, Steve, you were not kidding about the power grid stuff. Never before in the last 25 years at my present address have we ever had power outage issues unless it was a bad storm or snow or ice. And friends, we haven't had snow or ice. Not yet this summer. Here it is, Saturday of all things, and it has gone out twice. Once around 1 p.m. and came back around 25 minutes later. And now here we are again at 5 p.m. with a restoration ETA of 7 p.m. Over 1,000 customers affected, according to the outage map. Make sure you know how to get to that website, right? Just type in power outage, and there's a map, and it shows you kind of what's going on. You can pull up your state and see it by areas. That will help you understand kind of what's going on with your outage right now. So glad I got my generator installed a few years ago. My point is, with these smart meters, they can shut down as many as they want and when they want, and claim that it's because of any kind of issue, and who is going to be the wiser. Now an update at 6:30 p.m. The power's back on, but looking at Duke Power's outage map, it looks like about 50 miles east of us in the Troutman area, 500 people just went out of power. So they just got their power back, and boom, another area lost their power. The Huntersville area has about 3,000 out, and it's spotty like that all over North Carolina. Now remember, we were telling you about that the Duke Energy draws a lot of its power from this area, this grid, and that they're dependent upon the power come from like Pennsylvania and Maryland and Ohio. Anyway, so I would definitely bet to say that the rolling blackouts are increasing, and then this is just the beginning of the summer. God help us all. Ethereal says, I've been stocking up on coffee for a year. Another couple of products that you might want to get stocked up on ASAP are rice and anything with chocolate in them. We've talked about that on this channel, of course, too. They both will be very highly priced, if not completely unavailable soon. We've already seen that with chocolate. You can't even get powdered cocoa anymore in a lot of places. Not like the powdered cocoa with all the milk mix and sugar. I'm talking about like baking cocoa, right? Honey too. The exportation of rice from the countries it's grown in has been severely limited to stop to protect sources for their own people. Now we do grow a whole bunch of rice here in the United States too, down south, but we'll be continuing to watch the weather down there. Due to extreme weather changes, many crops simply aren't producing in usual amounts. The fluctuation in temperatures and water amounts are affecting the crops. The chocolate issue is due to mold killing the cocoa trees. The mold is also a result of temperature and water fluctuations. This is particularly in West Africa, right? The cocoa is commercially grown mostly in two locations, two countries in West Africa, and both have been affected. Also, many of the cocoa farmers are leaving the industry to go look for gold, as it pays more. Yes, seriously. And honey is being affected by the severe loss of bee colonies, over 40% gone last year. This is very serious, as the bees, of course, directly aid the growing of food crops. Reddy Moore says, so funny that you should be talking about the supply chains being a target for hacking today. That is exactly what has happened here in northern Idaho. More news coming out of Idaho. This is an outrageous attack against the lactose-intolerant minority here. The company that supplies all the grocery stores with non-dairy items was hacked, so all the shipments were delayed. There is no non-dairy anywhere in any of the stores. It looks like a week before supplies will be sent. Thanks, Steve, for all you do. God bless. And this is a little bit more of a history lesson here, but just a reminder here. Mike, on September 29th, 2023, Norfolk Southern's computer system went down. This is the rail lines at the company headquarters in Atlanta, Georgia. When this happened, Norfolk Southern could not run the computer system that brought down pretty much the entire company for a day. They could not operate because of the dispatching of the trains, the controlling of the signals and switches, and keeping track of the trains is all done by computer. And that made the company operation pretty much impossible. All right, and the LMC says, Grass Valley, California here. Flock cameras have gone up everywhere, along with other cameras. Flock cameras are not for our safety. They're used for tracking and for control. The small black cameras with the accompanied black solar panel. So these things can just be put up without wiring them in. They can just put a whole bunch of them in. Are sometimes standalone or mounted with other surveillance. It takes an image of your car, license plate, damage, stickers, etc. It's stored for 30 days and can be watched in real time by law enforcement, or it's recorded. We are a small town with low crime. They made crime legal here in California and then installed mass surveillance. Doesn't make any sense. In Citrus Heights, another fairly low crime area, I saw one busy intersection had so many devices mounted on the poles that I had no idea what they might be. But they are just piled on. It's like something is being planned and they're getting ready to drop the other shoe. Stay vigilant and Godspeed. And hey, if you live in California, I know you've heard it, but do what you can to get out of there, please. Some of these places are extremely hostile to you, and just keep working on it. I know you guys that are in those places, you have your reasons, but do what you can. We're rooting for you. We really are. All right, friends, thanks so much for joining with us. If you want to get some more information from Genesis Gold about what you can do with your retirement account, there's a link right there on the screen. Just tap it and fill out your information, and they'll get in contact with you. No obligation to move forward with them, of course. If you want to check out another video from this channel, there's one right up there. I'll see you over there, or I'll see you guys later. Steve Poplar of the Poplar Report.